Hey all, welcome to ShareTrek. This is Raj here. Friends, today I want to pose a question to you. The question is, do you think genomic sequencing companies are being undervalued at this point of time, and that they are a great opportunity to get into and make plenty of money as the market improves? So let's investigate this question. Let's get started. Welcome back, friends. We have seen Illumina implode in front of our eyes right from the beginning of the Grail acquisition, fighting FTC, fighting EU Competition Authority, keeping a reserve of 400 million plus to pay EU penalties, and then Carl Icahn coming on board, fighting to get 3 members on the board, but ending up getting 1 member, but in the process dislodging the chairman of the board, and also subsequently CEO D'Souza decided to resign, and now we have an acting CEO. And in the recent earnings release, they had also given a disclosure at SEC in which one of the points they mentioned was that they are going to provide a bond or guarantee to EU instead of paying the 400 plus million, and they're going to ask, they're going to appeal the EU decision and try to avoid not having to pay the penalties. So I'm personally thinking that this jurisdictional challenge is not going to work out, because in any universe, you are not going to have a situation where a company can create a genomic sequencing product, which is very useful, and they do not deliver it to Europe. Europe is a huge market. So in any condition, sooner rather than later, Illumina will have to sell its products in Europe, and either directly or through collaboration. So I am thinking that European Union will prevail against any appeal, and Illumina will ultimately have to pay the money. So with that said, I can really understand why Illumina share prices are falling, and I firmly believe that once the Grail issue is resolved and the market improves, Illumina has got big potential to make a lot of money for us. Next, we have to talk about PACB. PACB has given a positive outlook for the next quarter, whereas Illumina has not. PACB has exceeded both revenue as well as EPS, and that's a very big positive. So I was expecting that PACB should do very well, but I'm seeing that it's constantly falling in value. What is the problem with PACB? If any of you have any ideas, please put it in the comment below. But PACB is going down. Again, my theme basically is that, do you think these companies are falling in value and it's an ideal opportunity to pick them at a lower price, dollar cost average on the way down, that they're going to turn around and come back up again? Because the business that these companies do is the aggregate of all those genomic diagnostic companies, research labs, and all these genomic companies which are making therapies. All of them need to use the consumables and hardware to do genomic sequencing, pattern matching, and things like that. So the cumulative demand from the entire industry is flowing into genomic sequencing business, and therefore I find it very hard to believe that these companies should not be doing well. And I'm thinking it's a question of valuation at this point of time, and maybe you can buy now and later on gain in multiples, because I believe all these genomic sequencing companies are being undervalued. Now, if we go across the pond to look at Oxford Nanopore, it's not doing that well either. And out here also we have Bionanogenomics, which I almost forgot to talk about. Bionanogenomics did a reverse split because it was becoming a penny stock, so it did a reverse split, and now again it's still losing value on a daily basis. So Bionanogenomics also seems to be in some kind of a problem. Is it possible that Illumina could consolidate all of them, or maybe they'll end up with another FTC anti-competition ruling? So we'll have to see what happens. But let me take you to the TradingView platform to give you an idea of what the price charts are looking like, and we'll end this video. First off, let us start off with PACB. As you can see, PACB has been falling after the earnings. It has fallen and fallen and fallen. Now, if you look at the earnings, what was wrong with the earnings? Nothing at all was wrong with the earnings. They came 12.49% above expectation on EPS. Their earnings estimate was minus 0.32. That was the expectation. They came in at minus 0.28. less losses is better than more losses. So I think that's good in my books. And then if you look at the revenue, they came 18.40% above revenue estimates, which was estimated at 40.18 for the quarter, but they came in at 47.57. So $7 million of additional revenue in a quarter is pretty significant in my opinion. I did not want to see this kind of a weakness out here. MACD is bearish and moving away from the signal line, and momentum is going towards the very bottom. So things are not looking really good out here for PACB, and I don't know why it's happening to these genomic sequencing companies. Now let's look at Illumina next, and if you see, all these are one-day candles, and if you have a look at the chart out here, you can see that it has been dropping steadily all the way from 23rd of June. And it has not picked up much. It consolidated a little bit for a period of time, but after earnings, it came down again. If you look at earnings, it had pretty decent earnings. It had a surprise EPS. They were expecting 0.016 EPS per share, and the company came in at 0.32. So it was a big surprise out there for earnings. And if you look at revenue, they came in 1.34% above what was expected. So I think Illumina should have done better. But as I mentioned in my prologue, that there were a lot of other board issues and other things, internal issues of Illumina related to Grail, which are holding it down. Again, we see a lot of value out here. If I was to just scroll down and show you how high Illumina was at one point of time. I'm keeping on going up and up and up. And this is where it was at one point of time at around 555. And now we keep on going down and down and down until we come to where we are at this point of time at 172.31. So friends, don't you think that every year Illumina has been adding new models, new consumables, new collaborations and stuff like that. So it's worth way more now than it was before. So it's all a question of valuation, and the valuation is likely to bounce back sooner rather than later, in my opinion. And then if you look at Bionano, which is again another basket case in our portfolio, Bionano has been falling steadily, and they had to actually do a reverse split of consolidating 10 shares into one so that it can be meaningful value. They had got notice from NASDAQ also at one time, if I'm not mistaken. And right now they are continuing to lose value. So each of these candles is a one-day candle, and the chart is so anemic that you can't even see. I'm just magnifying it as much as possible. And this is all one-day candles. So the momentum is so low that people are not even interested. Nobody's looking at that share. MACD is also moving away from the signal line. It's not looking good at all. It's absolutely weak. And then if we go across the pond to Britain and look at Oxford Nanopore, it has formed a cup and handle pattern, but the handle is not taken off. Instead of taking off, it has started coming down in the last few days. And that's not a good sign. Of course, we can't buy Oxford Nanopore unless we are in the British Stock Exchange, but it will be interesting to see what happens to this cup and handle. In my opinion, the cup and handle pattern has fizzled out, and there is nothing much to do out here. So overall, what I am seeing is that PACB has got great products. It's increasing its customer base. It's having good consumable sales as well. Then we have Illumina with a whole scalable suite of products, really good software, really good consumable sales and everything. These companies, there is nothing wrong with them. So even if you forget Bionano and Oxford Nanopore and focus on these two. Of course, I'm not considering Thermo Fisher because it's not a pure genomic sequencing company. But if you look at just Illumina and PACB, please tell me what is wrong with these two companies. There must be something that I'm missing. Maybe the balance sheet is in a bad position or whatever. Please put it in the comments below so that I can investigate that. But I'm personally thinking, of course, this is not financial advice. I'm personally thinking that these shares are becoming very, very attractive. And when the market gets back to normal, these things are going to give huge multiples in earnings, in profits, as their share price is likely to go up significantly. So with that, my friends, I'd like to bring this video to an end. I'm very keen to understand what you guys are thinking about. Please put it in the comment and let's have a dialogue. Thanks and have a great day. And before I leave, I'd like to wish all those Indians who are watching this video Happy Independence Day to you. Bye for now.